Hi everyone. Welcome aboard, and thank you for joining us on this voyage through maritime history. Today, we set our sights on the Delft, a remarkable Dutch warship launched in 1783, born during a time of turbulent seas and shifting empires. As you watch the elegant lines and intricate design of this vessel take shape, we invite you to imagine the age of sail at its peak, an era when craftsmanship, naval strategy, and national pride all converged on the decks of ships like the Delft. Built for the Admiralty of Rotterdam, the Delft was a 56-gun fourth-rate ship of the line, part of the Dutch Republic's efforts to rebuild its naval strength in the face of growing global challenges. In this video, we'll explore the ship's layout, her construction details, and the design philosophy that defined her. Whether you're a model ship enthusiast, a history lover, or simply curious about naval architecture, you're in the right place. Let's journey back to the 18th century, into the age of sails, storms, and battle standards. Welcome to the story of the Delft. The Delft was designed with function at the heart of its form. Every line, every timber, every deck arrangement was a direct response to the demands of naval warfare in the late 18th century. As a fourth-rate ship of the line, armed with 56 guns, the Delft had to strike a balance between firepower, speed, and maneuverability. She was built to operate within a line of battle, delivering broadsides alongside larger ships, but also agile enough for patrol, escort, and independent missions. The ship's plans reveal a hull with fine lines, optimized for speed under sail. Her upper decks were designed for efficiency, maximizing the field of fire for her cannons, while offering reasonable protection for her crew. Below decks, the internal layout followed a standard but refined Dutch naval tradition, organized, practical, and built with long campaigns in mind. The Delft's design philosophy was rooted in utility, but not at the cost of elegance. Dutch shipbuilders were known for their precision and attention to detail, and this vessel was no exception. The man behind this design was Gerard Cornelis Zoon van Kinsbergen, a prominent figure in Dutch naval circles. While he would later become more famous as an admiral, his deep understanding of ship construction and naval tactics strongly influenced the Delft's form and capabilities. The ship was built at the Naval Shipyard in Rotterdam, one of the key shipbuilding centers of the Dutch Republic. Laid down in the early 1780s, she was launched in 1783 at a time when the Netherlands was trying to reassert its naval power after years of decline. The launching of the Delft was a statement of resilience, a show of engineering skill, and a symbol of national pride. As her keel first kissed the water, the Delft embodied the hopes of a nation determined to hold its place on the world's oceans. On December 24, 1787, the Delft set sail on a mission into the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. Her task, to defend Dutch trade routes and confront the threat of Barbary piracy, a menace that had plagued European shipping for centuries. The Barbary corsairs operated from the North African coast, capturing merchant ships and enslaving their crews. But the Delft, a symbol of Dutch resolve, was dispatched to protect commerce and project naval strength far from home waters. Her presence in the Mediterranean was a lifeline for Dutch traders, a reassurance that their nation stood behind them, even in dangerous waters. Then, on May 31, 1793, the Delft embarked on a second mission, this time under the command of Theodorus Frederick van Capellen, a rising figure in the Dutch Navy. During this deployment, the Delft achieved one of her most humanitarian and heroic feats. In the port city of Algiers, Van Capellen negotiated the release of 75 Dutch citizens who had been enslaved by the Barbary pirates. It was a moment of justice, of diplomacy backed by naval presence, and it sealed the Delft's reputation not only as a warship, but as a protector of her people. However, the winds of politics were shifting back home. In 1795, the French revolutionary armies invaded the Dutch Republic. The centuries-old republic fell, and a new state, the Batavian Republic, was born under French influence. For the Delft, this was a time of uncertainty. The French, wary of resistance from pro-Orangist factions, ordered her disarmed. For a brief time, she lay silent, her guns cold, her sails furled, while revolution swept across the land. But that silence didn't last. With war looming against Britain, the French saw a need for every available ship, and the Delft was reactivated to serve once again, this time under a new banner, but with the same enduring spirit. Gerrit Verduren van Osperen was appointed her captain, and she returned to active duty, ready to face a new enemy on the high seas. In October 1797, the Delft, once a proud symbol of Dutch naval power, faced its greatest and final trial at the Battle of Camperdown. This fierce clash between the Dutch Batavian Republic, ally of revolutionary France, and the British Royal Navy would decide control of the North Sea. As part of Admiral de Winter's fleet, the Delft, under Captain Gerrit Verduren van Osperen, found itself locked in combat with HMS Monarch, a powerful 74-gun British ship. Though outgunned, the Dutch crew fought ferociously, trading broadsides at close range. The Delft's guns inflicted heavy damage, but British fire tore through her hull, killing and wounding dozens. Even as masts splintered and decks ran red, the Delft's crew resisted. When HMS Powerful joined the attack, the Dutch ship was surrounded, yet Van Osperen rejected British demands to strike his colours. Legend claims he shouted, "I have not yet begun to fight." A defiant phrase echoing John Paul Jones. Finally, with her rigging destroyed, hold flooding, and over 40 dead, the Delft could fight no more. As the British boarded her, Van Osperen, mortally wounded, collapsed on his quarterdeck. The ship, too damaged to salvage, was left to sink. But in a twist, British sailors, impressed by the Delft's bravery, reportedly saluted as she slipped beneath the waves. Among the Dutch ships captured was the Hercules, commanded by Captain G.J. van Rijssoort. This ship had fought valiantly but was ultimately taken by the British Royal Navy. And in a remarkable gesture of respect, the British chose to rename their captured prize HMS Delft, a tribute to the fierce resistance shown by the original Delft in battle and the enduring courage of the Dutch Navy. It was an unusual but telling honor, to name a captured warship after an enemy vessel, not in mockery, but in recognition of its gallantry. But the story of the Delft doesn't end in the 18th century. In the modern age, a new chapter began, one driven by passion, craftsmanship, and a deep love for maritime history. Starting in 2001, in the historic district of Delfshaven in Rotterdam, just steps from where the original ship had been built, an ambitious project took shape. At the historical shipyard to Delft, a team of shipwrights, volunteers, and maritime enthusiasts began constructing a full-scale replica of the Delft, using traditional techniques wherever possible. The goal was not only to recreate the ship in physical form, but to resurrect the spirit of Dutch naval heritage, to let new generations see, touch, and experience the grandeur of 18th century shipbuilding. For over 17 years, the project slowly took shape. Timber by timber, keel to mast, the replica emerged as a monument to history and a labor of love. The shipyard itself became a living museum, where visitors could witness the building process, explore exhibitions, and learn the stories of sailors, captains, and shipbuilders of the Dutch Golden Age and beyond. Though construction was eventually paused in 2018, the replica of the Delft remains a powerful symbol of perseverance, of remembrance, and of the enduring fascination we hold for the great ships of the past. Thanks for watching.